Welcome to the Local Real Estate Show. Join us each week as we hear from local real estate professionals from around the country. We'll hear their stories, get their advice on the current market trends to the best ways to get the most out of your real estate purchases, sales, or investments. Whether you're just getting started and buying your first home or you are a seasoned real estate investor, there's something here for everyone. So buckle up and get ready to hear from the people who know the real estate industry the best. Now your host, Steve Champagne.
Welcome, everybody, to today's show. I have a very special guest, Beth Caudill. She is with Make the Move team with EXP Realty. Welcome to the show, Beth. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. It's the end of the week. You've been busy, huh?
It's like the light bulb switch, whatever, turned on in real estate this week.
And you're going. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get right into it, why don't you give me a brief introduction about yourself?
Introduction about myself. I've been in real estate about 20 years. I help buy and sell for families in the Denton County area here, just north of Dallas. I am fairly seasoned. I always think there's something to learn, but I love to help people and get them to their end goal, whatever that may be. I'm currently the sitting president of the Real Estate Association here in the Denton County area. So that keeps me very busy and on top of all things real estate. So I'm traveling around representing those 1,500 people in our association and learning all about legislation and what's going on and different bills, different things for private property rights to help people and homeowners. So besides regular selling real estate, I do all those other things too.
Okay. Well, it seems like you're a really busy person. Let me ask you this. Why did you get into real estate?
I got into real estate kind of on accident. I have been working in the real world for more than 20 years, but I owned a kids gymnastics place at the time when I got into real estate. So I taught kids gymnastics and I loved that and loved helping people and the relationships I developed. Previously, my degree from college is in hospitality management. So it is all about helping people. And that's always what I'd wanted to do. And then I had a client just say, "Hey, have you ever thought about real estate? Because I think you'd be really good at it." And so I said, "Well, tell me more." And so once I got into real estate, it was like a missing puzzle piece I didn't know was missing. And it was just like, wow, this all clicks. This makes sense. I'm a good numbers person and able to help and in a real way for people, not like, anything hard, but I can figure out numbers and know where people need to be and where we need to be on a offer or what they'll take home, that kind of thing to help them.
That's good. All right. Tell me a little bit about the Denton community. So if I was going to move into Denton, why should I move to Denton?
Denton, Texas is amazing. Denton County too. We have two of the biggest universities here in Denton, TWU and my alma mater, University of North Texas. And they just won the championship for their basketball team, which is amazing. And they are doing all kinds of things in Denton to help grow Denton and the surrounding area. Lots and lots of activity, lots of fun, all kinds of people. You'll meet all kinds of people in Denton, from, I don't know, babies to old people, I guess. But everywhere in between. And people are just really nice here. And they really believe in this city and want to help people out. So there's great churches here. There's great community outreach to help people. There's great programs. There's a great Chamber of Commerce in Denton, Texas. all kinds of things that like make me want to stay here because it's fun. It's exciting. There's always something new. Like you'll never meet a stranger in Denton, Texas.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the real estate market in Denton. Where do you see it going over the next year for folks?
Well, so last year was a banner year, right? And I think that it was that way for most of the country. And certain segments had different things. So one thing that's unique about Denton County is that we have a lot of job growth, a lot of jobs for people out here. So if you are wanting, where do I go? Because we see a lot of migration from, say, California or other states, even like I see it from Chicago area or New York, even Northeast. People, where do you want to go? It does get hot here in the summer. Sorry, I'm just telling you it does. But it is still a great city to be in area. It is so many jobs. I had an Uber driver 2 days ago tell me he moved here from New Jersey, and it was absolutely the best move for him and his family because people are so friendly and happy to be here. And there's lots of jobs, tons of stuff for people to do. We have the ballpark, we have the football stadium, not too far. We have we've got cool venues to go listen to music all around here. And so it's just a fun place. And of course we've got Apogee, the football stadium just real local at UNT. And we've got the best music school in the country here in Denton, Texas at UNT. So that is amazing for people. But really I'm telling you, we have all this stuff, but it's really the people that are so cool here. So cool in Denton.
All right. So let's dive into some questions around purchasing and selling. So let's first cover the subject of purchasing a home. All right. So do I really need to have a real estate agent to buy a home?
I feel like you're setting this up. So absolutely 100% you need to have a confident realtor with experience that knows what they're doing to represent you. So that person, they're not looking for the paycheck, they're looking to help you. So to figure out how to get to you to that place. So what's that going to take? What should that offer look like? Should my option period be? Do I need to pay for the title policy? Is this a hot market right now? Or should I pay the list price, or am I able to come down on that price a little? Or is it a hot market? And so we want to bump it up a little to be able to win that offer. And I'm going to diagnose you from the very beginning to know exactly what you'd like to do, where you're looking to go, what you're wanting to do to make sure when you are happy in the end. I don't want you to be a buyer who bought a year ago and goes, oh my gosh, I overpaid. What am I going to do? And then has to get out of your home. Like we are pretty red hot in this area. It's true. And Denton, Corinth, Louisville, Flower Mound, Argyle is all really, really busy right now. So you do need an agent to help navigate you through really all the roller coaster ride of buying a home. And it shouldn't be a roller coaster ride if you have the right agent.
Yeah.
So we want to help you.
All right. Let's talk about how does the offer and negotiation process work? And as briefly as you can describe that.
Well, it's a conversation. Everything's a negotiation. So, like I have 2 homes right now that are in multiple offers and 1 last week that went into multiple offers. So what I try to do for my seller is I, put down all the points of the contract, and some things are more important than others. So agents will typically call each other and say, okay, what's important to your seller that they need for when they move, because then they'll understand if they need to increase the price or the days that they're going to, close on the house or a lease back. there could be any number of factors that are going to make a difference to that particular seller.
Mhm.
So you need to know your seller or buyer to know their ins and outs and what would help them to win the deal. So that's what we're here for. I'm very competitive, which is maybe an advantage and maybe a disadvantage to my kids.
Mhm.
But when I'm playing games with them, but like we want to help you win that deal. So whatever we can do to make that happen, we're going to do it.
Okay. All right. So someone makes an offer, this thing called appraisal. What happens during the appraisal process for the buyer?
So once you're in contract, if you have a loan on the house, if you have to get a loan, right, you're getting a lender to lend you money on that property, then it's going to go through what we call the appraisal process.
Mhm.
I have to cough. I'm sorry. One moment. Let me get a drink of water.
Okay.
Okay. So we go through the appraisal process.
Mhm.
And what happens in that time is the buyer is working with a particular lender to get a house. And oh my goodness. So we're looking at a particular lender, and that lender is going to order that appraisal. During that time, the appraisal is going to look at every house in the area. What is fair market value for that house you're buying? So they're going to come up with a value on the property to what they think it's worth. They do, in fact, have a copy of your appraisal, of your contract. So they kind of have an idea.
Mhm.
And so they'll try to get comps to get to that number if they can. And they'll try to make it work in general.
Okay. All right. You
My
okay?
goodness. My eyes are, sorry, watering.
Take a drink of water.
I think it's just when you talk and talk and talk,
Mhm.
Anyway, okay, sorry.
Okay, so you got to get a loan, and these terms of being thrown away call pre-qualification and pre-approval. What's the difference?
Pre-approval is that you've talked to a lender.
Mhm.
Pre-qualification is that you talked to a lender and you've gotten qualified.
Okay.
That they know you're going to buy. So if you actually got pre-qualified before you found the house, that would be amazing. That means we don't need all the time we think we do. We just need to identify the house.
Mhm.
Pre-qualified is usually when the lender hasn't done anything other than looked at, like, okay, you say you have a job, we have these loan, we have, I don't know, W-2s or whatever
Mhm.
for you,
Mhm.
1099 tax returns, whatever it may be, but he hasn't necessarily analyzed them yet.
Mhm.
Maybe he ran your credit and he knows you're a 700 credit score, so you're a good candidate to buy a house, but he hasn't gone through all the steps with which to have you qualified.
Okay.
So it's gold the other way. If
Okay.
you've been through it all.
So basically, pre-approval is where you want to be, not pre-qualified. Pre-qualified is basically they've done a basic outline. Pre-approved, they've literally done a full-blown
Yeah.
a process approval of your
Mhm.
situation. Okay, great.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to sellers. That's the area you really focus in on, right? You're more of a seller's agent.
Sellers are my thing. Yeah, I do.
Sellers. Okay, so how do you determine the current market value of a home?
So I'm going to do much what I just told you an appraisal will do. I'm going to go in there and look at all the area comps, what's around, what's comparable, what's sold. I go a certain amount of time back, a certain distance out from your house, and I'm going to evaluate what I think your house is worth. So there are times when people think their house, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thinks their house is worth more, or maybe they just don't have any idea what their house is worth. So my evaluation is really going to help them to determine what that value should be. So we want to get you the most a dollar we can, but I cannot just throw a dart to a balloon and pick the number. There has to be solid research behind it, like to look at. I'm a very detailed numbers person. I look through all of that very extensively so that we want to list right. If you don't list right, it's just wrong. Like, so then houses are sitting on the market a long time and they go, why is my house sitting on the market a long time? Well, remember when I told you your number should be between 100 and 150 and you decided 200? Well, that's why. Like, because that doesn't match with this market and what the market is saying your home should be listed for. And I'm a compass, they get to make their own decisions, but I'm going to help guide them every step of the way.
Okay. All right. So someone wants to list their house and the question comes up, they have some repairs. Do I make repairs or I don't make repairs? Or do I make these upgrades before I list my house?
Super common question. Okay, good one. So I believe people cannot see beyond paint and carpet. That's why I tell people. It's an 80-20 rule. You always hear about the 80-20 rule. It always applies to something, right? Well, 80% of people, in my super non-verified mind, it's 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of people can't see beyond paint and carpet. When they walk in a house, they can't see, oh, I could just paint that room. Oh, this house is $10,000 less than the one around the corner, and I just would have to paint this room, and that would cost me $500. People can't figure it. They cannot make that association. So if your house is done and it doesn't need anything, then that's the one people are going to gravitate to, even if it's a little bit more. So the house that is more money but all done is going to get the most bang for your buck. If you did the same price and you said, hey, I'll offer a, I don't know, $5,000 paint allowance so you can paint that whatever it is you don't like, people still don't like that because then they think that's a negotiation tool to bargain with you. But if you have that house all done right from the get-go, that's what makes the difference. That's what is the most impactful house to have on the market and price right.
Okay. You're in a hot market, right? So
Absolutely.
how are you handling multiple offers for your clients right now that are selling?
So for my clients that are selling right now, and if a multiple offer situation arises, now multiple offers kind of just started again. We had them so much last year, but like here in this time frame, we just kind of got started. I create a spreadsheet for them, and I compare every aspect of that contract for them and compare it one to the other so that and I also will tell them what I think their bottom line is going to be pretty approximately. And then have all the details and even whether I know the agent or not. Sometimes people like to know that. I try really hard to know everybody I'm working with. And, usually I don't know them all in my multiple offers, but I know some of them. And and that just makes it apples to apples when they look at the offers. They can compare, they can know what's the strength of this one, what's the strength of that. Most of the time it's bottom line for people. However, everybody's a little different and they may want more days. They may want, they may be able to want to take some bush out of their yard that's a family sentiment and that somebody would be okay with, but still pay them what they want.
All right, so we got a couple more questions here to deal around sellers, and I know this probably gets asked a lot, is what is the average commission rate when to a real estate agent when selling or buying a house? How's that work?
So commission is negotiable. Standard currently is 6%, 3% for the seller's agent, 3% for the buyer's agent.
Okay.
And that's always negotiable, but that's kind of the standard.
Okay. All right. So I know you're not an accountant. I know you're not a closing attorney, but I'm going to ask you, since you're mostly dealing with sellers, that once they sell, they got to deal with the taxes implications of that, and they have a 1031 exchange. Can you explain to our listeners briefly what a 1031 exchange is and what goes around that?
So if you're investing in something, 1031 exchange is where you have a account set up, not necessarily with a bank, but there are certain people who will handle the proceeds of a sale of a property. If you're going to take that money and put it into an investment, say another real estate piece, you have 6 months to do it if you're going to do it under a 1031 exchange. So you're going to have a 1031 trustee basically to hold that money until you identify that next property. And I think you can have 4 or 5 houses identified for that next property. And you can put that with the trustee and then roll that into it. So for example, I had somebody last year sell one of their investment properties, and they decided they wanted to open up an auto shop here not too far from our area and in Pilot Point, and they took that money from the proceeds of the sale of the rental property, rolled it into that auto shop that they bought, and then they didn't have tax consequences for that. So that's the benefit of that 1031 exchange.
Okay. I'm not going to hold you to that question, okay? Because I know it can get pretty complicated. All right, so we're wrapping up the interview here. So the question I like to ask everybody that comes on the show is, why should someone who's looking to buy or sell their home pick you over your competition?
Well, I think that it comes down to I am a really hardworking person. I will get the job done. I'll make sure to dot any I's, cross any T's to get them exactly what it is they want. I come to them with a extreme knowledge level of the real estate segment and space. Being in serving as the president of the board of realtors, that's a group chosen by your peers and your board of directors. So I didn't come to this position lightly. And I'm very committed to helping all the realtors out there, but also, getting the job done. And I think, people see that in me, that I'm going to go out there and make it happen for them. So, and I'm kind of a bulldog when it comes to negotiating. So they like that too.
Bulldog, huh? Okay. All right. Here's your last question. If someone is looking to buy or sell their home, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, I have obviously my phone number is below. You can always call me on my cell phone too. I'll give that out to you. It's 214-497-4021. Reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Make the Move team is my group of people.
Okay.
And I mean, we're your tribe. We want to help you. We want to help you succeed. We really try to take, people's best interest to heart. It's not about me. It's about what they want, what they're trying to do. How can I help them get there? And that's what I want almost all realtors to remember. It's not about you, the realtor. It's about your client and what they want, and making them help those clients to get to that goal. So, I mean, that's what we're here for. That makes my heart happy. Working with my agents makes me happy, and it's a great thing. So we are here to help you.
All right. Well, Beth, thanks for coming on the show. All right, everybody, till the next time, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to the Local Real Estate Show. If you are a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, or a closing company and would like to be a guest on an upcoming show, please visit thelocalrealestateshow.com for more information. Thanks for listening.